But Corey, you know what we haven't done this time?
We have not done a lore corner in a long time.
We have not taken a trip to the lore corner in a long time, and as a result, we're not we're not reading one, we're not reading two, we are reading three pieces tonight.
Ooh.
For lore corner. We're taking a trip to the Books of Sorrow because, as I mentioned earlier, there were some really cool things confirmed in the trailer. Specifically, Oryx fighting his worm god. So we are going to get into some of that right now. I'm very excited. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how they found the worm gods originally on Orsinium. Also, one of the other things that was really cool in the trailer, you can see the symbols and the values for Mercury and for a couple of other elements, and when you add them up, it equals the value of Orsinium.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So this first one is Book of Sorrows, Chapter 5, Needle and Worm. My secrets, carved in my code by Savathun, the right eye of vengeance. This year of wild voyaging, these lightning nights and golden days, these forays into ancient wrecks and windblown flights from monsters. These are the happiest times of my life. I want to be a mother, not because I want to spawn, but because I want a long life. Long enough to make a difference. We have been at sea a year, and I am afraid of we will die out here. I know where to find secrets. I know where fast, slow things with long memories live. The needle ship. The needle ship, carved in my code by Savathun, a liar. We salvaged the needle from the Shivruvi maelstrom. I knew it would be there. The needle is a gray ship, as long and slender as hope, as unbreakable as time, and old. Older than death. It tumbled through the maelstrom before our ancestors crashed into the fundament. This is not a sea ship like Oryx's. It is an artifact of high technology. I know its purpose. I know what happened to the crew. Zero wants to sell the ship at Kaharan Atoll, where our species gather. At auction, it would earn us enough wealth to hire mercenaries. We could retake our osmium court and send the baby-eating helium drinkers screaming into the ocean. But I told Zero the ship was worthless. Aresh wants to open the ship and see if we can take command of it. I know this is the right thing to do. I know because I asked the worm. The worm, carved in my code by Savathun, who should be afraid. It was my father's familiar. I ripped it from him as we fled. It is a dead white thing, segmented, washed up from the deep sea. It's dead, but it still speaks to me. It says, listen closely, O vengeance mine. So this is kind of the origin of Savathun as we know her. Originally Savathun, Zero, obviously Zero Wrath, and Aresh becomes Oryx. This is kind of what it is. They're seeking out the ship that will allow them to become hive gods. Really, they've been searching for a year across the oceans of Fundament. So we're gonna pick up with them a little bit later. Another Savathun, number 9 Conquerors. Savathun, mother morph of Savathun, we delight in your sharp mind. For millions of years, the Leviathan caged us here. It is a pawn of the sky, a philosophy of cosmic slavery. The sky seeds civilization predicated on a terrible lie, that right actions can prevent suffering, that pockets of artificial rules can defy the final beautiful logic. This is like trying to burn water. Antithetical to the very nature of reality, where deprivation and competition are universal. In the deep, we enslave nothing. Liberation is our passion. We exist to help the universe achieve its terminal, self-forging glory. The war rages on, and soon it will consume Fundament. We are pleased with your use of our larva to create mighty knights and plentiful warriors. Tox's retreat to the hydrogen fountain proves your superior strength. But you must know that reclaiming your home is not enough. There are 511 species living on Fundament. One of them must have the technology you need to leave this world. So this is Savathun's worm god talking to her for the first time. Not the first time, really, but kind of talking to her, similar to how Zol spoke to us and to Nokris back in Warmind. That's very much what's going on here, and this is kind of the beginning of Savathun's deception. This is her kind of getting drawn in, and when they talk about the sky, they're talking about the Traveler. Right. The Traveler has arrived over Fundament, and This is very clearly the darkness talking through the worm gods to Savathun, and ultimately the hive really are one of the ultimate enemies of the traveler. It really comes down to like the hive and the Vex, who have a role that we don't quite understand in these stories yet, which is one of the last big mysteries. I think like the hive's origin has been there in front of us the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's just taken us so long to piece together that them and the Taken really are the true agents of the darkness in a lot of ways. Because villains always see themselves not as conquerors, but as liberators. They think history, just because they won a few battles, they think history will praise them and see them as, heroes. And they're not. They are enslavers, like the darkness really is. But this is one of the first lore pieces, I think, because keep in mind, this is from the Books of Sorrow. This is from years and years ago, from the Taken King. This 6.5 years ago is when we read this for the first time. This is, I think, really pointing to the first time that we had to question the nature of light and dark. And it's something that if you read the grimoire and the lore, it was right there. And it's something that's kind of sat in the back of my mind ever since, like, what really is light and what is really dark? Is it that cut and dry? Is Savathun that cut and dry of a character? And I think the answer at this point is pretty obviously no. She definitely has malicious intents for the light, but how did she get the light is still what we're wondering. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to be wondering maybe beyond the main campaign. Book, I want to say 28 of the Books of Sorrows. The King of Shapes. And this is specifically talking about what you see on the statue. This is Oryx and Akka. The King of Shapes. This is the coronation of Oryx, the Taken King. It happened thus. In the cold abyss of the sword world, King Oryx walked under a cloak of green fire. He walked through the sky, and the sky shuddered and froze beneath his feet. He walked until he found Akka, the worm of secrets, who was denying a truth until it became a lie. Akka, my god, worm of secrets. I am Oryx, sole king of the hive. I have come to receive a secret. I want the secret power of the deep which you hold. I give no secrets, said Akka, whose voice was code. No, said Oryx. You give nothing. Giving is for the sky. You worship the deep, which asks that we take what we need. Akka said nothing because if it denied this truth, the truth might become false. But you gave us your larva, the worm, said Oryx, and that is why the worm devours us now, because it was given, not taken. So I must take what I need from you, although you are my god. Said Akka, you have not the strength. But this was a lie. Oryx had killed Savathun, his sibling, and Xivu Arath, his sibling, and he had the sword logic of killing them. Oryx, the first navigator, set upon his god with his sword and his words, and cut Akka to pieces, and took those pieces, the secret of calling upon the deep. He wrote this secret on a set of tablets, which he called the Tablets of Ruin, and he wore them about his waist. Then Oryx said, now I may speak to the deep, the beautiful final shape. I will be king of shapes. I will learn all the secrets of our destiny. His speech to the deep is not recorded here, but it is known that he returned, and he said, now I am Oryx, the Taken King, and I have the power to take life and make it my own. Then he went out into the universe, and fought the Ecumen with his tablets, and the worm, his god, was pleased. There's a couple things to call to attention here. First off, Oryx did kill his worm god, but similar to when we wielded Whisper of the Worm, and when we wielded Touch of Malice. Just because you kill a god doesn't mean that they're really dead. Their essence lives on and can still speak to you. And that, to me, that seems to be what Akka was doing to Oryx. He was still speaking to Oryx. Mm-hmm. And Oryx was probably tormented by those voices for a very long time, if not for the rest of his life. As we've seen, like, we killed Zol, and Zol still endured on another planet and dimension altogether than where we killed him. The next one I would like to call attention to is he calls the deep the beautiful final shape here. Mm-hmm. And if you recall, the final shape is the name of the last DLC that we'll be getting for Destiny 2 and the Light and Dark Saga. I think this kind of offers us a little bit of hints. That this kind of makes it seem like when he talks about that the final shape is, in a way, it is dark. It is darkness. Mm-hmm. The Taken are like a manifestation of that, but I don't think it's that simple when we think about the future. I do think that I will keep beating this drum until I'm proven false, and I hope that I am one day and they have something more creative than what the Veil is. But I do think that this is probably the expansion where we see them for the first time. There's a reason why this statue is in Savathun's throne world. There's a reason why this is here. Also, I love that, name drop Destiny is in this.
The final shape is also in there, too.
That's what I was just talking about, the beautiful final shape.
Yeah.
The darkness, the Taken, the Veil, whatever we want to call it. That there is something. Oryx clearly has glimpsed something that we haven't seen yet. The worms are an agent, so to speak, and we know whatever it is, it wants Savathun, because Savathun got out of its clutches at some point, or it's all ploy, and that Xivu Arath is so scared of whatever this entity is that she's working with them. So I do think that we're rapidly heading towards a scenario where at the end of this saga, the Hive and the Taken probably cease to exist. Almost like an Avengers Endgame moment with the final snap from Tony Stark and Chitauri and all the monsters that Thanos had just disappear. I think you're rapidly heading towards a scenario where they just cease to be.
Yeah.
That the worm gods cease to be, the tribute system is gone, the tablets are destroyed, things like that.
Yeah.
But this sets up a number of interesting possibilities, and just seeing that statue of that fight, and the fact that they put it in a trailer, and it could, of course, be a red herring. It naturally could be. Bungie loves to do that, but they don't put things in prominent shots in the trailer, because why include a shot of just like walking up to that statue if it's not going to mean something?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. Maybe this is how the Guardians come to understand the sword logic more.
Yeah.
Is through things like this. We've all had the speculation that Oryx maybe isn't completely finished for good, that the Touch of Malice is maybe coming back. Mm-hmm. We know that in the Pit of Heresy, they were trying to resurrect Oryx. That's the ritual that we interrupted in the Pit of Heresy.
Yeah.
So, that Crota's daughters wanted him brought back, and that Savathun was just going to let him do whatever they wanted to do. They were a distraction for her. Mm-hmm. Next couple weeks, we're going to get into more Savathun, more of how she became herself, her activities in the Dreaming City and whatnot. And that should take us up to and past probably the Exorcism. Hopefully all the way straight to the Witch Queen, in which case we'll get a whole bunch of lore, and I can stop dragging things out over a 7-month period.
Yeah. It's gonna be so weird it's gonna be so weird when this season's only like 2.5 to 3 months.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for it.
Yeah. Gosh, dude, this season, like, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this time off, but like, man, this season is just like, boy.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've started playing once a week again, just to kind of get my feet wet before. I mean, the last time I played, with leading up to Beyond Light and Arrivals and everything, it was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm playing like a lot right now before the expansion, which I really hadn't done because it didn't really matter before Arrivals. It felt like, but man, I want to see what this Exorcism is going to be.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up because it's an end of season thing and most of those are duds. But if it really does end up occurring the first reset of February, I'm going to be really, really happy because that's when there's an actual astral alignment happening.
Yeah, and that's something that Bungie would do, right?
That's absolutely something. But this is the company that made up I Love Bees, okay? They would absolutely do this.
That's fair.
Okay, they put NFT chips in our strange coins, and we still don't know the purpose of it yet. So I'm very, very curious to see what happens. The next couple weeks, I think, are going to be really exciting. I personally will be viewing trailers with some trepidation from here on out. just because I don't want any more of them like shoved in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I will mourn the fact that I was emailed today, and my collector's edition will not be here when the Witch Queen comes out. I was officially told today.
Oh no!
It will be probably early March when I receive it. I'm happy my game code isn't tied to it, but it's still like I'm supposed to have vacation in March at some point, and I really hope it doesn't get pushed to like the end of March. Otherwise, I'm going to be like messaging my family from the Bahamas, being like, "Hey, I need you to go pick this up from my doorstep. Don't worry that this is going to cost me like $20 to send this message. Just go do it, please." So. That is where we are at in Josh's ongoing saga of Bungie store items that have still not arrived.
Yeah, jeez.
My Guardian Games jacket from last year still hasn't arrived. It's blowing my mind.
Seriously?
Still waiting on it. Yeah, still waiting for it.
You got your Vault one before your...
I got my Vault one. I ordered my Vault one a month after my Guardian Games jacket, and my Vault one is personalized, and it came... At this point, it's come more than a month before my Guardian Games jacket. And it's a shame because that jacket is supposed to be one of Chelsea's birthday presents. It's actually for her.
Wow.
So.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Josh, I'm glad we finally got to talk some Destiny today, even though it was partially...
I still don't think it's that bad. I think we're all overreacting, and I look forward to
Josh, the Destiny community does not overreact.
Oh god, I hate and love this community. He hates and loves the community much as he hates and loves himself.
Oh.
That's a Lord of the Rings reference for anybody who doesn't understand it.
I didn't understand it.
It's said by Galadriel about
oh god.
About Gollum.
Hmm.
Excuse me, Gandalf. Gandalf says it about Gollum.
I know who Gandalf is.
He hates and loves the ring, much as he hates and loves himself. So, that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. You know,
I'm not this community. I love the Tower Casuals listeners. You guys do not disappoint me. You do not make me embarrassed to play this game on a regular basis.
Nope. Love the TCC, what we're calling them.